and so I will keep you posted about everything. And I'm really, really happy to have my team with us, with me, following my dreams and our values for a better world. So thank you all so much, and thank you again to everyone. Now I'm super excited to introduce to you my friend Melissa Harry. She's a director, she's a writer, she's a lot of everything. So first of all, a big round. And now I think you can introduce yourself. Thank you so much.
First of all, I'd like to give Federica a huge round of applause for putting this whole event together. And also to all the amazing actors that we've got here today, including the parents and everyone that's come here to support them. I think you've all done such an amazing job. You gave me goosebumps throughout the whole first part of today, so well done to you. Okay, so this evening, Saturday night, I'm going to be talking about just about the importance of diversity and uniqueness within the media and film industry. It's a huge passion of mine. I mean, I've started in the film industry since 2009 with just screenwriting. And I'd say just, but you know, it was just a small part of what I was doing before. And then eventually I started to evolve into that journey. And eventually I got to the point where I finally made my first 2 short films in 2021. And then I've started to just move forward from that. I guess in a weird sense, the pandemic actually helped. Because it helped me kind of get my priorities in order, and in terms of what I wanted to do and what I wanted to show to the world. Really, it was just about making sure that everyone was represented in media and film. So I know I've got my assistant here that's gonna help me out with the presentation. So yeah, if you see me nod to her, it's just because I need her to know when to click. Okay, so if we could move on to the first activity. So, I wanted to make this more interactive rather than you just listening to me going on and on and on, because no one wants to do that on a Saturday night. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to break up into pairs, preferably with someone you don't know. I know we're all sitting with people that we do know, so even if you turn around and talk to someone that you haven't spoken to all evening, that would be really great. And we just want to spend a few minutes, say about 5 minutes, just to ask each other where you're from. And it could be location, or it could be your country of origin. You know, you choose what you want to share. An interesting fact about yourself. And if you were trapped on a desert island, what 3 items would you bring? So I'm going to give you until about 25 past. And yeah, if you just try and speak to someone you don't know. If you can't find anyone you don't know, share something different about yourselves that you might not know about each other.
Okay, all right.
Unfortunately, we have got a bit of a time limit, so I hate to kind of rush through, but I want to make sure we get through some amazing content. So, who would like to talk about, someone pick out their peers, who'd like to go first and kind of talk, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm from India. I was born in India. An interesting fact about myself is both of my pets have Instagram accounts. And if I was trapped on a desert island, I would bring, number one, a meringue, number two, a plane, a private jet with a bunch of celebrities on it. Oh, no, it was a bed. A bed.
So that's a really good idea. Okay.
I am from India. An interesting fact about myself is that my name means paragraph. And the three things I'd bring with me if I was trapped on a desert island would be a mansion, a private jet, and a phone.
Amazing. I do love their sense of survival here. Like, really do. Okay, great. Who else wants to go next? Who wants to go next? Am I going to pick someone else? Yeah, go ahead, please.
I'm originally from Cheshire, and then my mum got relocated because she's a bit special like that. She got relocated down south. And an interesting fact about me is that I have my own podcast. And if I was trapped on a desert island, I'd bring a boat, a bed, and some water.
Excellent, good choice. And who have you teamed up with? Go ahead.
Hello, I'm from London. An interesting fact about me is that I'm a triplet, so that's annoying and fun at the same time. And if I was trapped on a desert island, the three items I would bring was a boat, which is my idea. It was a boat, my phone, and probably like a tap with infinite water.
So resourceful.
That was my idea.
Okay. You're sharing
Yeah.
ideas. Okay, that's good. That's important to collaborate. Okay, so why did I get everyone to do this activity? Yeah, it's an icebreaker, but there's something more towards the meaning behind it. Okay?
Because it kind of like starts conversation,
Yeah,
and it's to kind of break the tension.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? Anyone think of anything else?
Getting to know the person.
Yeah, getting to know your person.
There is quite a lot of diversity in the room, and
Exactly.
I imagine that that's what you're getting
That's
at.
exactly what I
Everyone's
was getting at.
different.
Yeah, that's right, absolutely. And everyone's got a different set of ideas. Now, I've done this icebreaker in corporate settings as well, and you'd be amazed at how some of the answers could be a little bit boring, a little bit, but here we're very resourceful because we're in a creative environment. And this is what I really love about, especially about the film and media industries, because we're creative, we start to think outside the box, start to think about survival. You know, a jet plane full of celebrities, I mean, you can't get more creative than that. But yeah, but all of us have got really unique things that we would like to bring with us. Not only is it about our location and country that we might have been from, or where we're from, an interesting fact, but definitely those three items that we would like to bring with us. It just says a lot about that person, and you know, and as you get older, those priorities and those things will start to change. Anyway, can you click over to the next slide? So I've already kind of introduced a little bit more about me. So yeah, so like I said, screenwriter since 2009. I was also a YouTube and podcast host for Rhyme Entertainment Showcase, which was all about promoting new talent, unseen talent within the film and music industries. And again, that was still such a great show because we were able to actually cover, I say we because it was a duo between myself and my sister, and we were able to cover film festivals as well, which was really exciting and something that I'm still involved in today. So as I mentioned previously, I am a filmmaker and producer of 2 award-winning short films, Maybe It's Not and How It Is, which both of them include Federica. So again, without her being involved in my projects, I mean, to be honest, she's a super talent, so she's absolutely amazing, and she just brings so much positivity into the production. So yeah, so next project, you know, you're included as well. Which comes to my 3rd project. So I'm currently working on a mini-series called The Beginning. It's still in the quite in the early stages just yet, so that's what I'm working on at the moment. Script consultant and script reviewer. So for any of those that are budding screenwriters, you know, you can approach me and I'll be happy to kind of give your script to look over and give you some feedback. But a bit about me, a little bit more in terms of my background. I am an educator, project and events manager and content creator as well, obviously makes the film. So again, a lot of things going on in the world of Mel Hurry, but again, I like to keep it busy, keep it varied. And in terms of my cultural background, so I'm originally from Mauritius. I was born and raised here. But yeah, so both my parents came here in the 60s, so in their early 20s they were over here. And yeah, and then I came about how many years later? About a good, yeah, I won't even count how many years later. My math is gone for this evening. But anyway, safe to say, I'm over here now and I'm working with you lovely people this evening, and it's absolutely is a dream come true to be able to do this with you. Okay. Okay, so for this evening, we are going to understand the difference between diversity and uniqueness, and also how to embrace it. We're going to look at the history of media to where we are now, and then also looking at challenging blocks and barriers. A group activity, yep, again, another activity. I like to keep things interactive. We want to look at problems versus solutions, so I'm going to give everyone a little bit of a task to look at problems, and then we'll look at their solutions, because we always need a solution to a problem. We're not just going to leave a problem hanging. We're always going to challenge it, make it positive, and turn it around. And then, of course, where do we go from here, with an opportunity to ask me some questions as well. Okay? Any questions so far before we start? No? Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, so diversity and uniqueness, are they the same? Is there a difference? So before we go to the next slide, can anyone tell me what the difference is between diversity and being unique? Go ahead.
Is diversity more of a statistic while uniqueness is individual?
Yeah, okay. So it's a good, very thoughtful answer there. Anyone else want to give me an idea of what the difference could be? Alright, next slide. Okay, so according to the Oxford Dictionary, so diversity is a range of many people of things that are very different from each other. So yeah, so quite rightly, it could be statistical. I'm not one for statistics, so unfortunately I'm not going to give you a full knowledge based thing here, where I'm going to put percentages on the screen. But it's just for us to realise that we are looking at many people or things that are very different from each other. And then we can get to the next one, please. And then what is uniqueness? The fact of being the only one of its kind, so yeah, individuality. So give me some examples of how we're unique from each other. Let's start to think a little bit about our human selves. Good.
DNA and fingerprinting.
Exactly, yeah, DNA, fingerprinting. Perfect answer there. Anything else? Languages, yeah. Would we say that is unique, or would we say that that's diverse?
More like a diversity, because a lot of people will speak Polish or English or different languages.
And then
for
you
example.
break it down into
Exactly, for all the
dialects
different
as
countries.
well.
Yeah, dialects as
I,
well.
for one, though, however, on the unique side of it, I have my own spin on everything, so you'd be amazed at some of the things that I'll end up merging with different languages altogether.
But it can be unique in a way, because I'll give you a personal example. A lot of people, when I speak, for example, they think they can't find the right place for me, because they don't know where I'm from, and they can't match the look with my accent, and they're very confused.
Yeah.
And I always liked that I had a unique accent, and that's why I think it is special, and it's me, and it's unique. I can speak it the way Polish people speak. That's not a problem for me.
Yeah.
And I can try and put the most possibly able English I can as well. But I just like to be myself.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just like to speak it with my own accent. I always said it. I've been here 20 years, but I still like the way I speak.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you think of technology today, when you're calling up your banking, telephone banking, they'll be able to distinctly detect if that's the right person or not calling. So there's so much to it. But yeah, could be uniqueness, but most likely language will be diverse. But yeah, think about fingerprints, hair, DNA, all of that. That we possess, but also certain characteristics are unique. So again, someone's going to have a different type of quirkiness to them.
Sound
the
of
other
the voice.
person's, the voice, exactly. Yeah, there's so many areas that we can be so unique from each other. And when we're on screen, when we're thinking about how we're projecting ourselves, the sort of energy we bring. If you think about actors that you really like to watch, they've all got a certain uniqueness that they bring to the screen or onto the TV, whichever media, even in terms of voiceover actors. In a podcast, for example, they all have a distinctness. So there's always a way to bring your uniqueness, even though we're in a diverse situation. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of a step back into history. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of us that know the TV shows that are presented on the screen here. One of the things I wanted to actually talk about was that, we can see that a majority, I couldn't fit every single BBC show on here, but we can see that generally there was a lack of diversity that was happening within the 60s. However, we do have one show that I would like to point out in the top right-hand corner. Can anyone remember what show that is? I know you're racking your brain here.
It's the one where we teach English to students.
Yeah? Mind your language. Mind your language, yeah. So the reason why I brought that up was because there was a certain... you've got pros and cons of everything. Now, with this particular show, what I loved about it was the fact that we actually had real actors acting from their actual backgrounds. Although some of them, there was a little bit of swapping around in terms of, one of them who is from Mauritius was playing for someone from Pakistan, but again, it was just based on colour rather than actually understanding culture. The negative side of it, however, was that it was playing on the fact that just because you were from a different country, you didn't know English. So it was, so that was that stereotype.
It was
right?
a comedy more.
Yeah, it was, and it was literally there just to kind of make people feel like, actually, maybe I don't know English, I need to learn this. And I'm not saying that all of it wasn't funny. There are some things that would make you laugh, but we're looking at tasteful humour here. But in this instance, it was like, okay, this is going to kind of ruffle up a few feathers now. If we were to talk about it today, it would be totally unacceptable to have that. So I wanted to kind of make a point of how diversity was brought in and the negative connotation and meaning that it had behind it. But then if we go to the next slide, to what we have now today, we have a little bit more of a mixed, diverse showing on TV, which should give our people of today, our future, our future generations more hope to see that actually we're going to have much more of a diverse casting and much more opportunities for everyone, where it wouldn't be because your difference that we're actually going to make that the main point of the story. But today we've got things like Top Boy, where we have got predominantly black leadership in these roles. You've got things like shows like Industry. I don't know if anyone watches that on BBC Three. I've put up top here Greatest Showman. Can anyone tell me why I've put Greatest Showman? I tried to lead away from BBC after this. Anyone think of why I put that there?
Best show ever.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a Greatest Show.
My favourite, my daughter's favourite show.
Absolutely. Anyone?
Your bearded woman in it?
Yeah, you've got a bearded woman in it. You've got Sam Humphries as well, who plays the little person. And this represents a lot of uniqueness as well as diversity, and that's why I threw that in there. Anything else? Can anyone think of any other TV shows that I've probably, or films that I've definitely missed? Because EastEnders today. Yeah. Would we say it's still as diverse?
I'm a bit confused about that one because quite a few people said, "Oh, I would love to see you in EastEnders."
Yeah.
But then when I mentioned it to my daughter said, "Well, it's very much English show, so I'm not sure if I can find you with a different accent in EastEnders." But then again, a lot of directors they will say that's what diversity is about, and in UK we have a mixture of nationalities and mixture of people these days. You go to London, you will have Romanian, Polish, English, and you will have different nationalities, Indian, Pakistani, etc. So they all deserve to have some sort of roles because they are diversity for for the film industry, I guess.
Exactly,
so,
yeah. and even diversity in terms of, yeah, if you're talking about, you know, ethnicity, colour, you know, race, religion, creed, accents, all of that. But then we've also got the diversity and uniqueness of, you know, if someone's got a disability, or, you know, or if there's any other impairment. I know obviously we had Rose, who was the winner of Strictly Come Dancing. I mean, that's how I got to know her, and you know, it was great to see that someone who was deaf was in EastEnders, and that was really great to see because there was some positivity being shown here. Again, that diversity and that embracing different people. But we still need to see more.
More
We're
of
in
it.
London, yeah. We're
Absolutely.
in London. We need to see more of everyone. Everyone
Absolutely.
needs to be represented.
It is, I would say that in Poland, when I'm looking and watching the films, even 20 years ago, there was a diversity on the TV.
Yeah.
We had, you know, different color of different nationality, different cultures, different people playing in it like a family films.
Yeah.
So you would have a family, mum and dad, adopted children, and they will all have a different color. I love this show. It was one of my favorite shows, like a family TV program, and every single child was different. Chinese, black, you know, you had the different nationalities, different cultures, and it was amazing because all these Polish people on the TV were watching it every single day.
Yeah.
And they were adopted children, yes, but it
But
didn't
it's
matter
still-
for them.
yeah.
For them, it was a family.
Excellent.
You know, it was excellent to watch it.
You've come to a good point because I put here called the midwife. Why have I put called the midwife? Does anyone watch it other than me? Because I just feel like I'm the only person who watches it.
I never watched it.
Okay, great. It's a really good show. Right. Why have I put that in there in particular as to how far we've come now? Considering this was back in the 60s as well.
Because wasn't it like I know, wasn't it predominantly like white doctors and like white nurses and things, and they would treat the white patients of higher class more superior to the black, like I don't know, to the
So-
people of different
Mhm.
race.
So, so you're onto something here.
But
Anyone
this-
else got to add to that?
But this is wrong again because
Mhm.
how many nurses we've got on NHS working in hospitals here are coming from
Yeah.
African countries.
You're revolving it. Go
Loads
ahead.
of many.
Called midwife was actually they treated absolutely everybody. The whole
There we go.
hospital was absolutely
Yes.
everybody. They
Yeah.
in the 60s was one of those times where they would turn a baby if they weren't looking right, whereas calling the midwife didn't.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of children who have abnormalities, Down syndrome, craniofacial malformations, that sort of thing going on, and they don't do that. They
Yeah.
actually embody it.
Yeah, exactly. And also in this particular drama, they highlight the whole migration, you know, of, you know, Jamaicans and Indians coming into East London in particular. And I mean, I was born and raised in East London. I'm happy to, you know, I'm proud of that. But yeah, but the fact is that this show actually embraces that, and it talks about the different cultures. It embraces that. It even talks about how, you know, if we spoke about Britain back in the day, that was quite, you know, unfortunately was not as racially accepting at that point. But it highlights these things, and that's why I threw that in there, because how far we've come today is that we can actually address these issues, and we can actually talk about what happened in that era, you know. And I kind of reflect back to my parents when they came to England and what they faced, or what they may have faced. You know, sometimes they choose to talk about it, sometimes they don't. But there are so many consequences that happen. Call the Midwife, for me in particular, it highlights that issue. It does talk about it in a different sort of way, but it still is very, very subtly done, and yeah, it's impactful. Next slide. Okay, so I'm going to let you have a read, if you can have a read of that. I'm not sure if everyone can see on that side fully what is being written here. If not, just call out and I'll read it out. But I want people to, all of you, to have a read of all of these statements. Some of them I've experienced myself, and some of them I haven't. And what we're going to do in a couple of minutes, I'm going to get us to talk about what our appropriate approaches or responses would be to those comments. you don't have to think of a response to each and every one. You could probably pick one that resonates the most, and or one that kind of impacts you the most, and then you can think of an appropriate response to it, no matter how much it could anger you.
Oh, see, I thought it totally doesn't structure isn't there. Oh, that's awful.
Has anyone thought of a response to any one of those that you'd want to choose?
A director is a man's job.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, I heard we can only have native English speaking cast members.
Okay. So just going back to a director is a man's job. If someone said that to you, what would your response be to that? Rather than no, it isn't, a woman can do it too. How would you tackle that?
I would point some of the women directors' name
Mhm.
who has shown they can do it better than man.
Okay. Exactly. Pick out some of the female world leaders that we've had. Yeah, Jacinta. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So you've mentioned about we can only have native English speaking cast members. What's your response to that? So let's just say, for example, a producer said to you, no, we can't cast you, and I know, I do understand this is going to trigger you a bit, we can only have...
Yeah, it triggered me the other day actually, I'm not going to lie to you. Somebody just, we were casting each other in a film school, so we were sitting opposite each other and talking about who you can play, who cannot play.
Yeah.
And I think one of the teachers raised it that it could be a big possibilities for me because there's not enough actors out there with the diversity that I have, because obviously I'm speaking slightly different accents and the roles I can play of the way I present myself and my talent, etc. So they said that there could be a big massive opportunity or could be none at all, and it could be very, very tough and hard work for me because I never will be English, you know, my English never will be 100%.
What's your response to that?
A little bit cry there and there.
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't explain, it's just really tough industry, and I guess, you know, we all have emotions and we all people, right, we all got hearts, so I guess I just have a moment of my cry and then I think about it more and chat to and some other actors, and you know, if you meet the right friends and right actors, they support you. You just need a good support around you. You need to hear that positive vibe into your ear. Sometimes I guess that's what you need.
With that statement, has anyone got an idea of how they would respond to that?
I would probably try to find out what is the reasoning behind using only English-speaking cast members. Is there a valid reason, or is that just the conservative view about using that kind of particular cast members rather than using the diverse one? I would also try to resonate using other successful shows where they have used more diverse, members rather than just sticking to one set of people.
Definitely. And if we bring it back to EastEnders again, it's all based in London. So many diverse people around. What do you mean you only need native English speaking cast members? You know, you need a mixture of everyone, and exactly that, think about all the positive. So so naturally our first thing is to get really upset about it, but we also need to think, actually, there's so many other shows, you know, mentioned it, Waterloo Road, Ackley Bridge. I mean, I was a fan of Ackley Bridge, devastated when it stopped. And so many other shows that I've even just gone through just a moment ago, where diversity, uniqueness, and people that are just being embraced, youth, you know, young, old, middle ground, middle-aged, whatever, you know, we're all accepted in here. We don't need to listen to this. We don't need to accept that that is what we're looking for. We challenge it, okay? Anyone else want to take a statement and talk about how they tackle it? Anyone else? Anyone else? Go ahead.
I think the lady that just asked, what's your rationale for thinking that? I think she sort of hit the nail on the head, because the answer to most of these questions, apart from the one on the left, is why.
Yeah.
The one on the left you can't answer why to. That's just rude.
Yeah. Believe me, I've dealt with that a lot. But yeah, so yeah, exactly. Why? Why would you say that? And that's exactly the point here, is to any sort of change. And it doesn't have to be just about ethnicity. It doesn't have to just be about that. Anything where someone is telling you you can't, why can't I? You know, obviously, unless it's, you know.
Yeah, one of my actor friends, she is in drama school currently at the moment, and she gets really bullied by a lot of students, because actually she wants to be a man, and she's trapped in a lady's body.
Yeah.
But she has an edge, so everyone tells her edge, and she's like asking everyone like, what do you mean? What does that mean? I've got an edge. So what type of films I can go to? Because she's just like confused, like because beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, beautiful person inside and outside, and it's like, and so confused because obviously she feels like she doesn't get that sort of support there, and the bullying obviously doesn't help in a school, in drama school as well, because she is different, she's unique, different, and people cannot accept it, and it's wrong. Even in drama school, I think, you know, it is wrong.
So when we get to this point now, I don't want to divert and start to talk about bullying, but when we get to the point where we are being bullied, and you know, I believe it's your podcast that also talks about that as well. What can we do to change this? What can we do to kind of say, right, okay, I'm getting bullied here, I'm gonna move forward, I'm gonna change my surroundings. How would we go about doing that? Can anyone think about how they would try to connect with different people?
It's the people around you, yeah, so you just need to change the environment.
Yeah. How would you go about changing your environment?
Myself, I'm very talkative, so I can stop on the bus stop and start talking to a grandma 80-year-old at any time about my size of shoes, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess I try always make friends everywhere, but not necessarily everyone gonna like me or my personality, which is absolutely understandable and acceptable. But yeah, I just trying to be open how I am and my feelings, and I'm a very honest person, so I will just keep my heart open, and you know, whoever wants to be my friend, they're more than welcome, and I guess this is me.
Brilliant. And also, you know, think about it, especially for yourselves, you know, quite young, you know, coming into the industry, start thinking about also, I need to be with people that are not necessarily like-minded as in you're the same, but you're like-minded in terms of growth. You want to be able to be surrounded by people that are going to help you and encourage you.
Yeah.
And you do the same as well. It's all give and take. But yeah, so start to think about that. If you're in an environment that seems quite negative, start to think about, right, okay, I also need to think about your well-being. It's always about your well-being as well. Okay, anyone want to take another statement before I move on? I know we've hit nail heads, go ahead.
I don't think this will appeal to a mass audience. It's a bit too female.
Go ahead. How would you challenge that?
Great question. Okay, so basically I've read this book called She Said by Patricia Seaver, and it's a really good book because she kind of talks about how, for example, a woman is pushy, a man is direct or something.
Yes.
To challenge that, I guess I could. Okay. Maybe go into talking about like. I know it's late. Can't think. I don't really know.
Yeah. But you're quite right. Watching movies. I know it's the movie as well. She said, reading books like that, and being aware of how much, if it's all a bit too female, exactly what does that mean? It's a bit too female. Is it something that person doesn't particularly like knowing about female?
I mean, that women are successful. That's the only
it could be that as well. But you know, pointing out the fact that actually, look at the amazing hit shows that are about females. You know, look at the, you know, even in politics, the news, you can see it. So this is about pointing out things, and sometimes you need to get a bit statistical when it comes to this. So don't be afraid to challenge it. It's your right to challenge. And also, if anyone says something like that, any of these comments, do you really want to work with them? Exactly. So this is to tell you that if diversity and uniqueness is not welcomed, this is where you say, well, actually, you're going to lose people, because we're in a different world now where we do welcome each other and we do unify against this terrible behaviour. So yeah, and this is where they'll start to have a lack of actors, they'll have a lack of production, because no one's going to want to work with these people that come out with this. And I have literally, I'll say about a good 4 of these comments I've come across. Okay, next slide. Okay, so I'm aware of the time. Wow. Okay, so we're going to keep this a little bit more interactive. So rather than split you up into groups of 4, I'm just going to call out now. So let's think of areas that you still think are not represented in the media from what you've seen today. I know we've got accents is one of them that we've mentioned. Can anyone think of other things that you ladies here, anything that you can think of that's not represented?
I feel like there was a thing, I don't know if it's still, but it was a few months ago, where Jewish people don't get the chance to be actually played by, you know, do you know what I mean? It's like, in the film, if they're Jewish, it's not actually played by someone who's Jewish.
100%, yeah. Prime example, there is a comedy called Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. None of them are Jewish, but yet it's about a Jewish family. Why? Why? Exactly. Well done. Any other areas that we feel is misrepresented or not represented? So go ahead.
Mental health could not be represented very well.
Yeah.
As in, it could be either represented as something minor or not represented at all.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And you see that, or maybe it's just wished away, or it's slightly hinted that they might have a mental health issue, or they could be slight depression, but sometimes they don't go into it enough. However, we do have things like shows like Afterlife, which is a little bit crude. I'm not going to obviously just promote that too much, but you know, they will highlight that. They might highlight the depression, but then they still make a joke over it. They'll still make it, you know, quite comical, and this could be very serious to people. So yeah, very good point there.
Relationships.
Yeah, go ahead.
Man to man, woman to woman, different families.
Exactly. We're only just starting to see that now. So like, we're in 2023, why is this not normal to see more LGBTQ plus relationships on TV?
Yeah.
You know, this is, you know, it's real life. We want real life represented. Anything else before I move on to the next? Go ahead.
Not necessarily the entertainment industry, although perhaps a little bit, but certainly in media, certainly in news, older women do not read the news anymore on TV. So Moira Stewart got kicked off because she was too old, and as soon as you get to a certain age, you're chucked off the TV.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I know of a lot of movies that are starting to now highlight that. I believe there's the film Bombshell, which obviously is more about the Me Too movement. But yeah, but again, you get to a certain age, and why we dropped off? You know, we should embrace the fact that we're getting older. We should be embraced in the media. It should be shown more. Absolutely.
Yeah, the men get there, the older men.
Oh yeah, it's not a problem.
Not the older men.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine. But yeah, but at the point of for women, that's very disempowering. Okay. Any other areas before we just move on?
Introverts.
Introverts. Yes. Elaborate, please.
There's so many extroverts, and it's exploited effectively, where the extroverts are there, they're in your face, and you can't get away from them. And then you've got the introverts who are just shoved in a corner and not expressed in any way, shape, or form. They're just there on the film.
Yeah.
They're not. There's nothing about them. They're just there, and it's unkind.
They're not focused on.
No.
And I definitely understand that. And that's not just in the film industry.
No, it's everywhere.
That's also in corporate world as well. Now, I've seen that so many times. If you're quiet, it's a bad thing. And if you're loud and you're speaking, oh, I did this and I did that, it's amazing. But you're like, but hang on a second, that person who is silently confident, getting on with their work, knowing what they're doing, why are we excluding them? Even in drama school. Kind of like a personal story that I've seen with someone that I know. They were very quiet, very introverted, but because they weren't an extrovert, they were told, oh, you can't be lead because you don't push yourself, you don't interact enough. But then put them into that situation where they've got a script in their hand, they have a monologue, they come alive, that's their role, they know exactly what they're doing, they embrace the character, they're living, they're breathing it.
But the same I would say about over talking people, because I have experienced that, you know, I speak so much and a lot of people are saying you just talk too much. You gotta listen instead of
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, you've got the
exactly.
two extremes
So yeah,
that people are
it doesn't
getting
mean
cornered.
that you
Yeah.
can't be a good actor just because you chat
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot and you're very
definitely
chatty and
not.
talking.
Yeah, exactly. If you embrace it, go, you know, everyone should be given that equal right, that fair chance of being able to show, I can play this role, I can do this part, I can be that news reporter, I can present, I can lead. You know, if you're not given the opportunity, it's about making sure everyone has that fair chance of being shown. Sorry?
Human nature is not built like that.
Well,
It's, you can argue that it's fair, it's unfair. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but then it's up to us to challenge that fairness and unfairness. Okay. Can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. Okay, so embracing diversity and uniqueness. Okay, so just tap once more. Okay, so how does diversity and uniqueness help with media and film? What do we feel when we see we're represented?
It might give people a role model to look up to.
Yes, role model, love it. Okay, anything else?
Encourage,
included.
and encourage people
Yeah.
to be unique and diverse in a way.
And feel like we can do it.
Yeah, definitely. So you feel empowered? Go ahead.
I know I was watching Hairspray recently, and there's a line that says something like the show needs to start having more people on the show that look like the people watching the show, and it could be like it makes people feel more included and like they feel like they can be that too.
Yeah. Exactly, definitely. Is anyone watching The Rise of the Pink Ladies on Paramount Plus? Or am I the only one that seems to watch it? It's great. If you love Grease, you love this show. It's absolutely phenomenal. But they've got more representation. If we think back to Grease, it's like zero representation of anyone, right? So, but when it comes to The Rise of the Pink Ladies, and just going off from your Hairspray example, that's exactly what they've done. They've represented every single person on there that was, you know, again, we've got LGBTQ covered in there, we've got different races, we've got so many different, different lifestyles that I'm just so happy about that. So yeah, so again, Hairspray is definitely one of them that you can start to see that that diversity is coming in. So yeah, so when you're feeling empowered, you're feeling great, you see yourself being represented, that's just going to make you want to do more, isn't it? It's going to make you empowered to say, right, actually, I can see myself on that person represents me, you know, and it could be, you know, that person, you know, could be feeling like could be goth, and say, well, actually, I don't see enough of me on TV. Oh, actually, here's a goth person on TV. Yeah, I feel represented. It doesn't matter, you know, you start to feel good. So yeah, thinking of the previous task that we did about some of the problems that we came across, it was actually about now looking at the solutions. So before we spoke about, you know, the problems that we're seeing like within the media industry and what's going on. Can anyone think about some of the solutions that we can start to make for ourselves if we feel that we're underrepresented?
Ask questions.
Yeah?
push or make petitions to have more characters that represent the wider
Love it.
population.
Excellent. Yes. Anything else?
Keep going.
Keep going. You raised an important point here.
It sounds stupid,
Okay.
but
What keeps you motivated to keep going? This is me getting a little bit personal.
my granddad.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he died of terminal cancer. But yeah, he'd want me to keep going. So,
Exactly. So you have that purpose, that push, that real motivation to keep yourself moving forward. And that is how you can change. You can change worlds with motivation, and how much that can keep you just moving forward and feeling really good about yourself to change what this negativity of being non-diverse is about. Over the slide. Okay, so let's go. Here are some of the some other tips. So just keep going. So apply for more roles. The more they see you, the more chances they'll want to work with you. If they don't see you and they don't see enough of you, they'll forget about you. Yeah. So we're talking about producers, filmmakers, casting agents. For those of you that are involved in the theatre, we need to see more of you. We need to know that you're there. Next. Create content and showcase your talent and knowledge. So I know we've got a podcaster here, which is great. We've got people that are already in great productions already, whether that is as extras or guest star appearance. It's absolutely phenomenal to hear and see that. But you can also create your own content. So don't forget, we have social media. I know social media can be both a negative and a positive, but you can make this positive and you can really showcase your talent and knowledge through social media and creating your own reels. Collaborate with people and get involved in projects. Now, I know everyone's in drama school and that's amazing. There's also a lot of people you can collaborate with. If you feel like actually I'm not being represented, my opinions aren't being heard, why don't you get a group together? You know, you've merged already a brilliant group from today's performance. You could say, well, actually, let's create our own drama. Why don't we get involved in that? You know, let's get Mel Hurry to direct or Federica to direct. Would help you, will definitely help you, because we're here to champion you. We're here to champion everyone who wants to be involved. Create your own projects. Yep, absolutely. That was just leading off from that. Next one. Embrace your uniqueness and be proud of your diverse background. So the point here is that you need to embrace yourself, and you could do that from a young age. Sometimes it could take right up into adulthood. Believe me, I know. It's taken me quite a number of years to actually believe in myself and actually be proud of what I'm actually doing. But if you don't embrace it first, if you're not proud of who you are, no one's going to see that light. No one's going to see that talent, because it's you know, that light's slightly dim, and you want to be able to really kind of deliver that and really kind of show what you're made of. And you can start from now, and you did that for those the brilliant actors for today. You did that today, and I was just sitting in the back over there, and I had goosebumps. So for me, it was like you showed yourself. You really embraced it. So keep showing up, okay? Do not forget to show up, okay? So I know we're a little bit pushed for time, so yeah, if you want to just go to the next slide, okay. So if every single person who's registered today is going to get a set of these slides. So either you use it as a reminder, use it as, you know, a point of saying, well, actually, I need to think about what did Mel talk about on Saturday whilst I was falling asleep. You know, it's alright, it's fine, it's late. So yeah, at least if you take this one message, stand up and embrace who you are, and that's for everyone, even people who aren't in the film and media industry. Once you embrace who you are, and you know, you stand up, you embrace it, you love yourself, you go in, you show your talent, that's the point where everyone sees you shine. Okay? Alright, any questions? No, everyone's ready to end. That's fine, that's okay. Alright, just point to the next slide. So, another quote here from Antonio Guterres: we have to transcend our differences to transform our future. So just think about that, something to think about, and you know, just, you know, love your difference, embrace everyone else's difference, be inclusive, and just, you know, embrace the diversity that we've got here. And we're very
And
lucky to
support.
be in London, support each other.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes I can connect with it. That some actors very focus on themselves, and you know, they become selfish and they not focus on other people to
You need
support
to
other people.
Support
And we all-
collaboration.
And
yeah.
collaborations and support sometimes
That's
can
right.
make a huge, massive difference, because you might be made your career, but someone else who's maybe talented is waiting for it all his
Yeah.
life, and you know,
Yeah, exactly.
you can help sometimes to others.
So, without further ado, I'm ending today's workshop. Thank you again for attending. You've got my contact details here. I'm on Instagram. You can catch me on Mel Hurry Films. You've got my email address there. So for those of you who've got CVs or you know whatever you want to send me, show reels and all that, get in touch with me. Send them over, and I will definitely be in touch once I've got some projects that are awaiting your presence to embrace and play. Okay. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
you so much.
That's all right. No worries. Really? Oh, thank you.
All the value.